lovely faces. Greetings, lovely faces. Greetings, lovely faces. We are exploring common themes with your girl with the good vibes goddess. Y'all, I'm about to do some rebranding. If you are interested in following along my journey and all of these teachings, stay tuned for the rebranding, or email me your email or drop it in the chat. You can email me at exploringcommonthemes@gmail.com, or you can leave your email in the app. This is about to be an exclusive rebranding opportunity, so just putting that out there, y'all. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. And this is my first time doing this like this, but it's gonna be more on the rebrand, doing this even better than this. All right, beautiful, lovely faces. First, let me share this live on my other platforms. Yes, yes, yes. So let's go ahead and get it pulled up. Let's get it pulled up. So yesterday, just like yourselves, I was completely shocked to hear that PeeWee Herman had passed away. I grew up watching Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I've seen some episodes of Pee-wee's Playhouse. I actually I watched one episode last night just to be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? That was what that was about. Okay. Because I'm an 80s baby. Pee-wee got started in the 70s. And so it's like, I remember, I don't remember, but I remember Pee-wee's Big Adventure for sure. Okay, so let me share this. Let me share me. Nope. Turn it down. My apologies. This should have already been pulled up. But we got this. We got this. Okay. All right. Beautiful, lovely faces. I'm not gonna waste your time. So, okay. So a lot of people, when it comes to Paul Rubens, right? Did you know that Paul Rubens isn't his name, or that Rubens isn't his last name? So Paul Rubens played the character Pee-wee Herman. His real last name is Rubenfield, right? So we're gonna go into some numerology, we're gonna go into some astrology, we're gonna make it do what it do, we're gonna bring it all together, and then we're just gonna see if his birth chart shows who and what the type of life that he lived. So we're just gonna check it out to see what we can see. We're gonna educate ourselves. I do want to share this. Hold on. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Here we are. Bow. There it is. Copy link. And let's go over here. No, let's go to my business page. Business page. Business page. Yeah, business page. Y'all, we're getting it. We're getting it. Almost there. Okay. Let's just do this in 2 separate posts. I'm excited, and I'm actually like really proud of myself just for being like, okay, let's do it, okay. And there it is. And there it goes. Yeah, I'm really proud of myself. And I'm excited for this rebrand that I'm about to do, like for real. Something in life that we are supposed to learn or supposed to learn. And that is the ability to live without, to be detached to a certain degree, right? And I'm trying to figure out if I have a healthy level of detachment or not. because my level of detachment is completely detached. And it just is what it is. Okay, so we're in there like motherfucking swimwear. Greetings, beautiful, lovely faces. Thank you all for joining me on this beautiful day. So let's talk about PeeWee Herman, or Paul Rubens, or Paul Rubenfield. Right? So let's look into his numerology. I got a few little notes right here. Right? Numerology. His real name, Paul Rubenfield. It's a 7. So in numerology, you can take your name and you can spell it all the way out. Each letter has a number that is in alignment with the letter, right? You take all of these, you add them together, and you break them down from a two-digit number to a one-digit number where possible, right? So for his whole name, Paul Rubenfield, we get the number 7. Beep, beep, beep. And also, along with that, his life path number, which is his entire birthday, is a 7. So you guys, let's talk about 7s real quick. Let's talk about the numerology, and then we're going to get into this chart. And I got this chart written down as well, right? So, numerology, the number 7, y'all, if you didn't know, 7 is the number of the teacher. 7s tend to be teachers. 7s tend to live lives in such observation that they are able to share the things that they have learned with others. Very simply as well. You know how you know people who try to repeat a joke and the joke don't be as funny as the original joke because they're trying too hard to tell the joke. And even when it comes to teaching, right? Not everybody has the ability to relay message, any message, the same way that they received it. So with Paul Rubenfield being a 7 life path and a 7 with his whole name spelled out, being a 7, right? Like, he is doubly able, numerology, vibrationally wise, to lead, to be able to break things down simply for others to understand, right? To be able to look at things so objectively. Like, there's a quote that says, when one teach to learn, right? So it's like, what do you mean? When one teach, what, you got 2 students? Like, what is it? What do you mean, one teach to learn? No, when one teach to learn, meaning every single time the teacher teaches something, like me right now, maybe me right here, right now, every single time I'm teaching you guys something, I'm relearning what I thought I already knew. So when one teach to learn, not only does the student learn, the observer, the watcher, but me, the person who is delivering the message, I'm learning how to deliver the message, not just to deliver it, but to deliver it effectively so that it is easily consumable by you, right? So he has this vibration twice as a teacher, right? Which is really, 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 really dope. I bet you're like, he's just PeeWee Herman. What do you mean PeeWee Herman's a teacher? How? We'll explain. We'll dive into it and we'll see how he was a teacher, right? So let's look at his personality number, right? His personality number is the day that he was born. Paul Rubenfield was born on the 27th. Y'all see that? 2 plus 7 is 9. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean, right? So not only does he have the ability to teach, but he has the ability to see the bigger picture. 9 is the last number when it comes to numerology. It goes from the numbers 1 to 9. You add a 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. Back to 1, right? So and then there's the master numbers. I don't want nobody coming in here like, that's not right. You got master number 11, 22, 33. Yeah. But simply put, numerology goes from numbers 1 to 9. These are the human numbers, right? So with him being a 9, what does that mean? it means that Paul Rubens at his heart, at his core, was a humanitarian. He was the type of person to give his last to somebody if he saw that somebody needed that something, especially if they needed it more than him. It also means that he also found himself in situations to be hurt by people not being open and being giving and being loving back to him, just as he has been to others. I got myself on the TV right here, so it's like I see me here and I see me, I see me there. I just wanted to make sure that everything was working, y'all. I'm excited. So we're talking about PeeWee Herman. Um, Rest in peace. You know, rest in peace. You know, we have to definitely salute people like him who are fearless, right? He didn't care what people thought. He wanted to be himself, or the version of himself that he saw in his mind's eye that he wanted to share with everybody else, regardless of what everybody else thought. And that deserves a round of applause. Yay! Right? So I don't want y'all to think that I'm doing this because I was just overly a PeeWee fan. I was just a regular person that enjoyed him, right? But the time of his passing came exactly on a day yesterday when I was planning on doing something like this and extending myself in ways that I've never done before, like this. So what else? His stage name, right? His stage name, PeeWee Herman. All the letters, all the letters, all the letters. PeeWee Herman is a 1. What is a 1? A 1 is a trailblazer. He did that with that. Even though he might not have consciously be like, oh, let me look up the numerology to my name. Let me look up the numerology and be like, okay, now I got to be a leader. Okay, now I got to be a teacher. Okay, now I got... No. The numbers carry a vibration, and because the numbers carry a vibration, if you carry that name, that carries that number, that carries that vibration, you're going to make it do what it do. Subconsciously, it's going to do what it do. And that's a very beautiful thing, right? So this particular year, 2023, Paul Rubens, also known as PeeWee Herman, was in his 6th life year, cycle year, right? So this year, 2023, he experienced a 6. And 6 is all about family. So especially since he found himself extremely ill this year, that means he was probably definitely more than likely surrounded by friends and family. Because 6 is about nurture. It's about family. It's about the home, being home. I don't know how long he was in the hospital, but, you know, home is where you are. Home is home, right? And so, but yeah, I'm sure he found himself, hopefully he found himself surrounded by people that loved him, friends and family, to make him feel home or at home or as close to home as possible in his last months of existing. So that's all I got on the numerology aspect of it. Welcome to the live chat, you guys. If you're watching, feel free to chat with me. You know, I don't bite. Alright. Here. I wasn't for sure how to like share my screen or to pull up something else. The more I do this, I'm going to learn how to do these things like that. So I drew it out. Y'all see it? Bow! There it is. Right? So I'm sure you guys, if you've never seen a birth chart before, this is like what in the Wheel of Fortune is that, right? It's his birth chart. It is his birth chart. So his PeeWee Herman, let's click that out. His sun sign is Virgo. Moon, Scorpio. Rising, I didn't get his rising. Wait a minute. How come I ain't write that down? I feel like it was Aquarius. Let's find out. And I appreciate y'all for being patient with me because as excited as I am, I'm just making it do what it do. So let's go to hitupastro.com. Tap on that. All of his information should already be there. Y'all, I swear I did not click on Temu. It clicked on itself. And I don't like that. Okay. 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 So, here, I wrote out his birth chart, right? What's going on, Sunshine Oracle? Greetings. Hello. So, in his first house, right? We can take it house by house or we can just hop to where there's planets. But, so if you don't know what a birth chart is, there are 12 houses, just how there are 12 zodiacs, right? And we're just going to keep it simple. We're not going to add no Ophiuchus or nothing like that because some people like to be super correct. Like, oh no, it's 13, it's 13. 12, darling. 12. So in the first house, he has Aries. Of course, there's no planets in that house. And so what is the first house? The first house is how you look. The first house is how you come across to other people. And if you don't know, Aries is the first sign in the zodiac. And Aries are known to be the toddlers, the babies of the zodiac. So with him having Aries in his first house, what does that mean when it comes to PeeWee Herman? That means he looked very youthful. He had a young look about him. People would never guess him to be the age that he was. They would always guess him to be younger than what he actually was because Aries represents youth, represents youthfulness, represents, like I said, the toddlers of the zodiac. So with him having Aries in his first house, here's his chart. With him having Aries in his first house, even though there's no planets present, it just means him, his overall person, his overall look, his overall being, what people thought when they saw him, if he was in PeeWee Herman mode or not, was he looks younger than what he actually is. He has this youthful thing about him. He looks younger than what he really is. So that's what we got for his first house. Bow, PeeWee Herman. Shout out to you for being youthful. Let's move on to the second house. Look, I'm going to figure out how to do this without doing this like this, right? The second house, and then we got Taurus, and we have Jupiter. What does that mean? Jupiter in the second house of Taurus. So let's talk about the second house. The second house rules finances, right? Taurus is usually ruled by Venus. Venus is all about wealth, it's all about femininity, it's about finances, it's about food, it's about things that make you comfortable and feeling luxurious, right? Finances. So he has Jupiter in his house of finances. And you know what that means? PeeWee Herman made big freaking money. Y'all, I should have wrote down the number that it was that he made for PeeWee's Big Adventure. Like, he did PeeWee's Big Adventure with Tim Burton backing him. So Tim Burton, y'all know Tim Burton? Tim Burton is the Nightmare Before Christmas. This is Halloween. Like, Tim Burton is the Edward Scissorhands. Tim Burton is all the gothic movies you you know and love, y'all. I'm a Tim Burton fan, right? He did my favorite Batman men. Two Batman. Two Batmans. Right? Yeah. And so the ones with Michael Keaton, right? He did both of those. And to me, those are the best Batman movies ever with Tim Burton. So PeeWee Herman teamed up with Tim Burton to make PeeWee's Big Adventure. And when I say this movie was a bigger success than what they thought, you can Google it. But it was, I'm not good with numbers, but it was like 40, comma, number, comma, number. Whatever that is, that's a lot of fucking money that it made. And it didn't even put that much, right? It was 40 million, right? is what it broke in the box office. I had to turn my mind on. Right? So for him to have Jupiter in his second house, yo, meaning that this motherfucker was destined to break the bank. Because Jupiter, what? Jupiter is the planet of expansion, right? It's the planet of higher learning, of education. And believe it or not, like I said, his personality number, his life path number was a 7, as well as his whole natural name, Paul Rubens, equal to 7, meaning this motherfucker was down to teach. And you just looked at it right. I did my research before I came on here just to you know, take some little mental notes. And so for him to have Jupiter in his second house, meaning he was able to educate. He got his money via education. And even though the way that he educated, yeah, life path 7, yes, I got on there right now. Beep, life path 7. So even though his education looked like entertainment, it was clearly educational to those who know how to see, and to those who are dedicated to learning, regardless of what the learning looks like. So he broke the motherfucking bank. In his house of money, he had the biggest, most expensive planet, and he did that. So not only was PeeWee Herman youthful in his appearance, nobody could ever guess his age because he always looked younger than what he was, with that first house being in Aries, second house having Taurus in his second house and Jupiter in that motherfucker. This motherfucker broke the bank. Hey, Shade, what you think? I'm playing. So, okay, let's move on to the third house, right? There's no such thing as an empty house, right? In his third house, he has Gemini. Gemini is... the third house is all about education. It's all about research. It's all about communication, right? Education, research, communication, and he does it Gemini-ingly. I made up a word, y'all. He's a Gemini, right? His method of communicating, meaning that he's unapologetic about what he says and how it's said, right? And that's very important because PeeWee Herman was what? He was a comedian first before being an actor second, right? So when it comes to comedy, you have to push the mold. You have to say things that makes people like, you know, like what? Even though he took the lighter approach. I don't know if y'all know, PeeWee Herman used to do his stand-up shows at night at the, what's the name of this theater? I got notes. At the Roxy Theater. He had the PeeWee Herman show before he hit HBO. At the Roxy Theater, he did midnight shows for adults, y'all. For adults. At midnight. And the matinees, he did shows for children. And these shows were sold out for 5 months straight at the Roxy Theater. 5 months straight. And so when people think about PeeWee Herman, they think, oh, he's just for kids. He's just for kids. No, he was an adult whose primary audience for him was for adults. And so I think people forget that people are people, and people want to judge him because certain things happen in his life, and that's in his chart too. We're gonna talk about it. So his third house is Gemini. As a, like I said, as a comedian, you're gonna have to communicate. Comedian communicates by any means necessary to get your point across. He had that there. Let's talk about this Uranus in the fourth house, right? Uranus in the fourth house of Cancer. Cancer rules the fourth house anyway. So Uranus in the fourth house, y'all, what does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? So the fourth house is home. The fourth house represents family. The fourth house represents siblings. The fourth house represents a lot of things. Home, family, siblings, right? So it also represents grandparents. Yeah. So with PeeWee Herman having Uranus in the 4th house. What does that mean? Uranus is Uranus is the planet, is the home planet to Aquarius, right? So that means in PeeWee Herman's home, in his upbringing, he was the outcast. He was the rebel. He had 2 other siblings with him. He had a brother and a sister. His sister is a whole attorney, and I believe she's somewhere here in Nashville. A whole attorney, right? And his brother trains dogs, right? Is a dog trainer, right? So he has a brother, you know what I'm saying? It deals with animals, pets, and stuff like that. Damn near veterinarian without the medical. And his sister is into law, right? So we're gonna talk about his parents. I was about to get into his parents. No, we're gonna wait until we get into a parent place to talk about parents. Okay, so yeah, so his siblings though, in the 4th house rules siblings, meaning that he didn't fit in with his siblings, and there's actually no information about his brother anywhere. You can Google and find his dad, you can see his mom, but his brother isn't on there, meaning that there probably was some sort of falling out between him and his brother, but definitely, damn, yeah, being the outcast. Look, yeah, so there's definitely a falling out, and just him being the black sheep. Uranus in the 4th house definitely represents the black sheep of the family. Also being a life path 11, yep. Yeah, oh shit. Who chart am I reading? Is it yours? Is it his? I'm playing. So yeah, so PeeWee Herman has Uranus in the 4th house. 4th house represents family, represents siblings, right? Also, with Uranus being there, it shows that he would be the sibling to break into television, or just to get to be seen, right? And maybe that's why him and his brother fell out. Maybe his brother internally wanted that shine, but didn't know how to go and get it. And PeeWee knew, right? It'd be little things like that. But there's no information about his brother for sure to know for sure. But I'm sure, I mean, training dogs, reaching masses, you know, you pick one, right? If I was a dog trainer and my siblings reaching masses, I would feel some type of way too. And you got the other one that's a lawyer. Hello. And so that's what we got for his 4th house. Moving on. And this is PeeWee Herman's birth chart, you guys. Moving on to the 5th house. 5th house in Leo. What we got there? We got Mercury and we got Pluto. Woo! So let's talk about the 5th house, you guys. The 5th house. Goodness. The 5th house represents your talents, right? It represents the way you shine, how you come across in the world, how you know what I'm saying? Like, it's your power, your superpower. Think about Leo, right? Leo is ruled by the sun. The sun shines when there's no clouds. And sometimes it shines through the clouds, you know? So it's your talents. It's your secret weapons, you know? That's the 5th house. Also, the 5th house represents children. It represents the first child. PeeWee Herman wasn't married, nor did he have any children, right? So what does it mean? What does it mean to have Leo in the 5th house of Mercury and Pluto? For PeeWee, y'all. What does it mean? I'm gonna tell you what it means right motherfucking now. Okay, so with PeeWee Herman, with Paul Rubens, better known as Paul Rubens, right? Having Leo in his 5th house and having Mercury there and Pluto there. We already talked about where his Mercury should have been. Mercury is a part of the 3rd house. His 3rd house is Gemini, right? Boop, which is his way to communicate. So meaning his communication is going to give him a claim, if you move it over here, to where he's going to shine in Leo. So here he was researching how to talk. Here he put his practice into play and made it make him sing by being a comedian by standing on stage. Leo, you see Leos when they go out there on parade. It's Leo season now. Shout out to all the Leos. It's your season. Turn up. I see you. I'm a Leo moon up in this place. So it's how you shine. And so for him, his verbiage, his way to communicate made him stand out to others. But more than that, the 5th house represents children. His way of communicating, dressing, acting, how he's shown through. You can pick PeeWee out of a crowd. You're like, who that goofy motherfucker right there? What your name is? You know what I'm saying? He's shown through because his 5th house of children, he has Mercury in his 5th house of children, meaning that he was able to be easily relatable to children. He was able to be easily relatable to children. So they gave him a show. Hey, we're gonna take your show that you're doing at the Roxy Theater that's been sold out for the past 5 months, and we're gonna take your matinee version that you do for kids, and we're gonna pay you, says HBO in 1981, and we're gonna pay you to do your matinee version of your show on TV for us, HBO, because his 5th house says that he is able to communicate better to children. Even though to him, in his mind, he was like, look, I'm here for adults. We got this whole midnight show going on. It was probably very vulgar. It was probably very grotesque. You said, does it work the same way if you have Mercury and Venus in Leo? Yes, darling. Yes. It depends on what house. But yes, in Leo, yes. But what house as well? You know, it might make you might be able to communicate. We're gonna talk about this. You know, message me afterwards. But yeah. It depends on what house you have Leo in. Ooh, in the 12th house. That sounds a little creepy. Not creepy. Mercury and Venus and Leo in the 12th house. So, for you, Sunshine Oracle, that would mean that you communicate with the unalive. And you already know this. You communicate with spirits, with things that aren't seen. The 12th house is usually ruled by Neptune. Neptune deals with the unseen. It deals with illusions, the imaginations, things that would put other people in a loony bin, in a crazy house. It doesn't scare you. And you are easily able to communicate with it. And with Venus being there, it will bring you money. So spirituality will bring you money. Talking about it, actually putting it out in the forefront will bring you money. Yay, I did something impromptu, right? Happy dance. Happy dance. Y'all, we doing this. I'm excited. I hope that answered your question, lovely. So, we have Pluto in the 5th house for PeeWee Herman. We got Pluto in the 5th house of Leo. When I say the 5th house represents, the 5th house represents children. It represents the way you shine. What does Pluto represent? Pluto represents the hidden. It represents death and regeneration. It represents fears. PeeWee Herman was afraid. As much as he was there for children, children were also something that he was the most afraid of. Or maybe he was afraid of not fulfilling life by not having children, you know, because usually for a lot of people, especially if you have a name and you have a legacy, it's your duty, right, to pass on your legacy to a child. And what I mentioned earlier, PeeWee Herman he never married. There was nothing on Google saying that he married. There was nothing saying that he had any children of any sort. His legacy died with him. His legacy died with him. So one of PeeWee's fears, probably an internal personal fear, you know, that might be in a book somewhere of somebody, if he decided to do a memoir, was probably, not only did he know that he was supposed to live for children, y'all, I got this too. I don't know if it's, I'm gonna have to see if it's in my chart, but children scare the hell out of me. But I know that I'm here for, I know that I'm here for them. So part of me just be, you know, like biting my little nails and shit. But it's just like, as much as they scare me, I'm able to identify with them. I don't have this placement at all. But he was probably, with the Pluto in the 5th house of children, and even talents, he was probably not only afraid of not having children, but even maybe even being afraid that his talents were just not enough, that he just wasn't special enough. Wherever there's Pluto, there is an air of downplaying yourself, not feeling enough, not, you know what I'm saying, just, you gotta hone in on it, right? I got some, my Pluto placements being the worst place for me. I chose that though, right? But so it is what it is. Moving forward, we got the 6th house in Virgo. We have his sun, he's a Virgo sun, and we have Venus. The sun and Venus in the 6th house of Virgo. For PeeWee Herman, what does it mean? Somebody please tell me, what does it mean, Lord? I gotta take a little sip. Y'all see me? It's warm in here. I got the air on, but it's like I got it down low because I didn't want it to be humming in the background. So I got some juice. You see the juice? It looks dark. It's juice. It's kombucha. It'll probably make me burp. Okay, so PeeWee Herman has the 6th house in Virgo. He has Venus and his sun. His sun sign is Virgo. Oh my God, what does that mean? So, if y'all know anything about earth signs in general, earth signs are perfectionists, perfectionistic, right? Which is him, if nothing else, if you don't know nothing else, just like even with Michael Jackson, or just like even with Beyonce, and I'm not a Beyonce fan, right? But these people are perfectionists. They are never good enough for themselves, right? So they'll sit there and critique the shit out of themselves before before anything will ever meet your eyes or reach your eyes. They're gonna sit here and pick through it until it's okay with them. And that's just Virgo shit. That's that. Critical, analytical, but the critique starts at home with them, right? Just putting it out there. So the 6th house, let's talk about the 6th house. Let's talk about the 6th house. The 6th house is work, right? The 6th house is wealth. I'm sorry, it's health. It's the 6th. I told you the kombucha is gonna make me burp. The 6th house is your health. And this is actually where the good stuff comes in, because he passed away due to health issues, right? So the 6th house is all about work. It's all about your state of health, being healthy. Service, pets, co-workers, illness, right? That's the other things I got, just to put it out there. So, I'm gonna show y'all again. Give me some time to think. Right? Here we are. 6th house, Virgo. I meant to draw this over, y'all. I drew this last night real quick, and I was like, dang, this shit look ugly. Let me. I just never got back to it, so it is what it is. You gotta accept it. Okay. So the 6th house, Virgo, you got the sun, and you got Venus, right? So the 6th, okay, so the sun, what does the sun represent? The sun represents masculinity. It represents the father. It represents, you know, the sun is ruled by Leo. So like I said earlier, it's the way you shine, right? It's the way you shine, cause you be on my mind, and all of that. Let me see what else. I don't know why I be doing everything else, and when I come to the sun, I be like, and that should be like the easiest shit, right? So, to me, this means since the sun is where the sun is when you were born, I feel like the sun is more you than anything else on your chart. So, meaning that probably throughout his whole life, he struggled with health issues. And these are probably things that were never said. Or maybe if he didn't struggle, he was secretly worried or concerned about things going wrong with himself, with his body. Maybe because his father had some issues as well, and he was afraid of having the same thing. We don't know. We do know that he passed away on the 30th, even though we found out yesterday. But we do know that he passed away due to cancer. We don't know what type of cancer, you know. And was this something that somebody, a male figure in his family, had also? You know, let's say if it's something like prostate cancer. You know, I don't know why pancreas came to me. I'm gonna have to look when they come out. It's pancreatic. I'm like, look, I knew it came to me. But no, prostate. You know, like that's something that could be like a generational thing, or whatever. But definitely his focus was on his work, very much so, and on his health, very much so. Because you know they say your wealth is your health. And you need both of them to be good in order to be good, right? So he has Venus in the 6th house of work, service, and health, right? Venus represents, what did I just say? Your wealth is your health, right? Venus rules Taurus, which is finances, which is femininity. Oh, y'all, I'm a genius. Look, look. Okay, when I say I'm doing this off the top of my dome to the best of my ability, right? So he has the most masculine sign and the most feminine sign together, right? Where am I going with this? Even though PeeWee Herman was definitely male, right? Gender-wise, what if him in his own way was androgynistic, right? You have the sun and Venus sharing the 6th house of service, of health, of wealth. So maybe him, and this, I'm not saying if it is, if it ain't. That's just what I just got, my little download. That's what I just got, right? If he was younger, I could see PeeWee Herman wanting a sex change. That's all I'm going to say. I can see that. With these two placements being right here in the home of health, you know what I'm saying? You got the masculine and you got the feminine. That's what I got on that. Moving forward, we're going to the 7th house, y'all. We're making our way along. I'm proud of myself. We're more than halfway through. So in his 7th house, we have, that's the number 7 again, for one. But we have Saturn and we have Neptune in the 7th house of relationships, under the sign of relationships, which is what? Which is Libra, right? The 7th house is ruled by Libra. He has a Libra in the 7th house. Libra, the 7th house represents all the ships, right? relationships, friendships, spaceships, all the ships, right? All the ships. I'm playing. The seventh house is marriage, relationships, long-term commitments, open enemies, legal affairs. I have to have notes on the side just to keep me focused, because I'll start joking. Legal affairs, y'all. Legal affairs, and it's in the seventh house. Hold on, wait. Okay, before I even get there, Saturn represents business. Saturn represents business. He has a business in interpersonal relationships. That's 7. What I say about his life path? His life path being a 7, meaning he's a teacher. So what he was teaching was interpersonal relationships, even though it came across as entertainment, and even entertainment and learning for children. He was definitely teaching something within his shows, right? But entertainment is more easily digestible than, hey, you guys, I'm going to create a curriculum. People are going to, bloop, turn off. Curriculum, fuck that. Bloop, turn it to The Simpsons, right? So, his business, which is Saturn, was in interpersonal relationships. And honestly, what did PeeWee Herman do? He bridged the gap, right? He was a filler. I don't know why I said it like filler. Am I doing my PeeWee Herman thing? Okay. No, he was he was a filler in between children and adults, because both children and adults were able to enjoy him, right? So his business, that made it interpersonal, right? Relationships, between parent and child, because they were able to come together and sit down and to watch a show, So, but with the 7th house dealing with what I say, legal affairs, what happened? What happened with PeeWee Herman that made it legal affairs, right? He was found off hours, right? He hold on, wait. Where are my notes? I got them right here. In 1991, he was arrested for indecent exposure at an adult theater, right? In Sarasota, Florida. In 1991. And this made his whole business, it put his whole business in danger. So with that 7 and his business being in the house of legal affairs, the fact that he was caught with his dick in his hand. And they don't even know. Like there's different allegations about that. And a lot of people would like to throw away everything somebody's created, because they had a moment to not only be human, but a moment to be a human adult. That I don't understand. I wouldn't throw him and all that he's done away because he had a moment at an adult theater. The fact that it's named an adult theater, they probably played porno in these places. I don't know. I ain't never been to one. But they would probably play porno, since when you go to an adult toy store, they got toys for things and that for the Rudy or the Tootie, they got toys in there for adults. So if it's an adult theater, you would think they would play movies that kids can't see, and it's more than Fast and the Furious. Like it's sexual in nature. So for him to be in a place where they're playing things that's going to make him feel like that, to do something like that, then I feel like that's the proper place to do it. It's the fact, but getting caught and having a name, maybe he was loud. Maybe there was a ruckus. Maybe it was more than masturbating in a theater, I don't know. But his business was subject to legal things, legal matters, or his business was in danger because of legal things, because he was found masturbating in public. right? And also in the house of relationships, business ships, partnerships, spaceships, you have Neptune. Neptune. What does Neptune represent? Yeah, marriage, relationships, long-term commitments, open enemies, and legal affairs, right? Neptune. Neptune represents illusions. Illusions. Neptune. Neptune. So when it comes to his relationships, the relationships he had, which is probably why he never got married, the relationships he thought he had weren't what he thought they were, because Neptune is there. And even in business partnerships, we don't know how many times he might have gotten screwed over just because he landed this big deal and that big deal. We don't know about the deals in between, and how they actually worked out and played out, right? So I would say back to the 5, him having Pluto in the 5th house, meaning him having fears of not carrying on his legacy by producing children, probably had a lot to do with him being in shady relationships or even secret relationships. And the fact that he didn't have any children, he was probably more than likely homosexual, right? Which would be an illusion type of relationship. Not saying that homosexuals don't have relationships, but coming up in the, you know what I'm saying, where he first hit the stage in 1970s to passing away in 2023, like a lot of people didn't talk about stuff like this. It was, his relationships would have been under the table. It would have been an illusion, because that's what Neptune represents. So, which is probably, like I said, back to why he was probably afraid of being shamed for not having children because of his lifestyle. So the Pluto in the 5th house and with Neptune in the 7th house is probably what's going on there. So we're going to move forward to the 8th house. Woo! 8th house. We're still talking about PeeWee Herman or Paul Rubens or Paul Rubenfield. 8th house. We have the moon and we have Mars in Scorpio in the 8th house. So what does that mean, right? Woo! The 8th house is ruled by Scorpio. He got Scorpio in the 8th house. That's a lot by itself. You don't need nothing else up in that motherfucker. But that's a lot by itself. The 8th house represents the hidden. It represents the occult. It represents death, regeneration. It represents darkness. If y'all know any Scorpios anywhere, they dark as a motherfucker. The 8th house represents sex, death, regeneration, bills, other people's money, taboo, criminality, and esoteric, right? Sex, death, regeneration, bills, other people's money, esoteric, taboo, and criminality, right? So he has Mars and the moon in the 8th house. You see that? The moon and Mars. Let's talk about the moon, right? I hope that's not what that is, y'all. Okay, so the moon represents the mother, right? Anybody else? Is there any other astrologers in this place? Please tell me that this man wasn't sexually assaulted by his mother, with the moon being in the 8th house. That's not going to be on Google. Damn. I can't unsee it now. I can't unsee it. Now I see it. Now. Okay. So, the moon represents femininity. It represents the mother. It represents emotions, right? Hidden emotions. And so you have hidden emotions in the house of death and regeneration and sex and criminality. Dang, I don't want to sit here and say his mom molested him. Yo, hold on, wait. What do you think? Post in the comments. If somebody has their moon in the 8th house of Scorpio. Moon represents the mom. Scorpio represents sex. Sexy mom. Oh, maybe his mom was sexy. Hold on, wait. Maybe his mom was sexy. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe I'm looking too far into it. So let's talk about Mars. Y'all, I'm having fun by myself over here. Okay, so let's talk about Mars. Mars represents war, right? Battle, struggle, confrontation, and even competition, right? So Mars, Moon, Mars. So when it comes to PeeWee, when it comes to, I want to skip over that. The moon and the Scorpio got me. I was thinking something else earlier. Like I literally just glanced at his chart. I didn't sit here. I didn't try to figure anything out. I didn't plan anything. I really wanted to read his chart with you guys as impromptuly as possible, you know. So I did his numbers, his numerology. I read his, his stuff. But I didn't read the chart. What is this telling me? Oh, okay. I would say with his Mars being in the 8th house of Scorpio, is that he had to fight for his sexuality, for his sexual nature, for the right to be himself. You know, we kind of already picked it up earlier with him having masculine and feminine planets in the 6th house of health, of sexual health, that he probably preferred to be androgynous, or if it came to a sexual situation, he was probably a bottom. And I mean that with all due respect, you know. And also with him being afraid of not having children, with his Pluto being in the 5th house of children, and Pluto representing fears, that all can come back to how he gets down with the get down, which is probably what he desires sexually in any way. And with Mars being in Scorpio, the house of sex, the house of occult and secrets and everything else, criminality, he was probably fighting a whole battle within himself about the type of person that he was and the type of person he thought other people wanted him to be. And I feel as if that comes down to his sexual nature. And I feel like a lot of his preferences might have been turned off by his mother being an influence on him. You know how you have a toxic feminine or a toxic masculine? Like a lot of women that I've talked to who prefer women, they do that because they have experienced so much toxic masculinity in their life, where it's just like the thought of a man and a ding-a-ling, keep it from me, right? For whatever reason. And so being that his moon is there in the 8th house, along with his Mars being there in the 8th house with him, honestly makes me feel as if his mother influenced something to him, about him, within his life, that made him question his sexual nature, or even made him fight and struggle against himself and what he really wants, because what he desired, especially coming from a different generation when being homosexual was looked at by the majority of shameful. Like now it's celebrated, right? But he's from a different generation where it was shameful. It was to be hidden. It was he probably did battle, y'all, and struggle within himself, you know, as far as what he wanted, and his mom had a lot to do with that, and the type of person that she was to him. And I'm just gonna let that be down on that. Moving forward. 9. It's not an empty house because Sagittarius is blowing that motherfucker up. 9th house. No planets, but you got that Sagittarius influence. And where's Jupiter? Jupiter's in the 2nd house, right? So what does Sagittarius mean? What does the 9th house mean? The 9th house is all about higher education. What is high? What is higher? What is learn? What is learning? What is higher learning? Higher. I'm playing. Every time I get to sound a Sagittarius, every time I get to Sagittarius, I gotta be a little extra for my, gotta go hard first, you know. So, naturally, Paul Rubensfield, I was about to say something else. Naturally, Paul Rubensfield enjoyed looking at things from a different perspective, and from a different perspective, for the sake of learning and for the sake of being able to teach. Like I said, what is his life path? A teacher. A 7. The ability to experience things and to be able to regurgitate things experienced so that others can know and learn. Like, he had that magic. And the fact that he got Sagittarius in Sagittarius, and then his Jupiter is in his 2nd house of money. In Taurus, Jupiter rules Sagittarius, y'all. That's why I said Jupiter, right? So he made big money off of the ability to take in information and to regurgitate it, right? Let's go to the 10th house. 10th house. 10th house, he has Chiron. Chiron in Capricorn. Chiron is a little KO, and it's in retrograde. So Capricorn, the ruler of Capricorn. Okay, he has okay. Calm down. So we got Capricorn in the 10th house. We're right here. Capricorn, 10th house, Chiron. Right? Thank you for the likes. Yeah, like, share, subscribe. We're gonna do a rebranding really, really soon. And if you would like to be a part of where I'm going to next, send me your email. Either write it in the comments, or you can email me personally at exploringcommonthemes@gmail.com. Right? Okay. Thank you for the likes. I didn't know I could see that. So he has Capricorn, 10th house Capricorn, right? We got Chiron there. Chiron is the wounded healer. Capricorn is big boss man. And Capricorn is usually ruled by Saturn. Saturn is the slowest revolving planet. We got big, well, it's the big slow. Anybody used to watch wrestling? Right, the Big Show, they call him the Big Slow. That's Saturn. Oh man. Okay, yeah. So Saturn is the slowest revolving planet we have. It's the great teacher, Father Time, damn near. Right? That's Saturn. Saturn energy. But also the 10th house represents business, and here I believe is representing damn, what's the word called? You know what I'm saying? How you come across the others. And hold on, wait. The 10th house, father, integrity, status quo, government, reputation. That's the word. His reputation was hurt. His reputation was bruised. Why? Because if you look across from here, that's that hurt. That's the injured, the healer, right? The wounded healer, Chiron. His reputation was bruised in the house of business because his business of interpersonal relationships was messed up because he had his dick in his hand at an adult bookstore. And it's crazy, like you don't know how these things are gonna play out, but it's the fact that you live a life and it's like it's all right here. You just have to know how to look at it. It's like, dang, it happened. How do we do these things? But we choose it. You know what I'm saying? The universe, the second we're born, there's a snapshot of the sky and it tells us, hey, you're subject to certain themes, you know, to come into pass, however they may come, depending on the hand, how you play your hand. You know, depends if you're a good spades player or not. So his Chiron in the 10th house of reputation, he was, in a sense, he was battered because his reputation was bruised, because of his business being affected, because of the type of person that he was afraid of showing to the world, the real him, the person who Mars is in the 8th house of Scorpio. He had to fight with his own sexual desires, his sexual nature, which was more than likely affected by his mother, because the moon is in the 8th house of Scorpio as well. You know, shit's getting deep, huh? Deep? Can we go deep, deep, deep? Can we? Okay. All right, thank you guys for hanging with me. We almost done. So now we got the true node. His north node is in Aquarius. 11th house Aquarius, north node. Right? 11th house is your hopes, your wishes, friends, associates, aviation, humanitarian efforts. Right? So he was actually living out his north node. Your north node is your goal for this lifetime. Whatever your north node is, that's your north star. That means go that way and it will fulfill you. So Aquarius rules over Uranus. We said earlier his Uranus was in the 4th house of Cancer. That made him a rebel. That made him stand out. He was supposed to stand out, but he did it so gloriously and he did it so publicly, because Uranus represents the internet. It represents TV. It represents the public. And he did it so publicly that people had no choice but to see and to appreciate or not his differences and the flavor that he brought to the world. You know, and the flavor that he brought to the world was PeeWee Herman and all PeeWee's magical playhouse things, right? You know, which I think is great. And his 12th house is Pisces. There's no present planets in his 12th house, and so it's just ruled by Pisces. And so the 12th house is all about escapisms, subconsciousness, hidden enemies, asylums, hospitals, prisons. And so we do know that he ended up in prison because of his rendezvous in 1991 at the adult theater, because he masturbated. Indecent exposure in 1991. He went to jail again in 2002 for child pornography possession allegations, but that was dropped because it was just allegations. Whenever you are in Hollywood or whenever you are in, that's the beast. He was a part of the beast, even if he wanted to be or not. But whenever you whenever you try to do things your way, they'll find ways to knock you down and to keep you down. You know, definitely to keep you down, especially if you knock yourself down. It's like, we got him. We need those rights to his shows so we can make money forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And he gets nothing. You know, we don't know all the background of what all of that was for and put out there for anyway. You know, so you guys, we are exploring common themes. What are your thoughts? Come on, y'all, let's reconnect. I said something about the fucking system and the matrix and it wants to disconnect me and shit. Come on now, fuck out of here, YouTube. But y'all, I'm actually very, very proud of myself. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your likes, your shares, your subscribes. Like I said, exploring common themes. We're about to go through a whole new rebrand where I'm going to be doing things like this more often, as well as other things. So if you would like to cruise along this journey with me, please share your email with me, so when I get everything done, you'll be the first to know about the rebrand and you get to follow me in this whole new direction. And this is just a sneak peek of it, reading birth charts, and it came at a very interesting time, and I'm very proud of myself, and I'm proud of you all for trusting me to sit here and to rock it out with me. So that's what we got of PeeWee Paul Rubens Herman. I put all his names together. And I learned a whole lot. I hope you did too. So we are exploring common themes. I am the good vibes goddess. y'all. Yeah. Until next time.